I looked over, I was with my group of friends. Sid was with hers, and I just kind of looked over and I noticed her. I mean, she was just so beautiful. And I was like, I gotta go talk to her. Like, I just have to. Marrying Sid it was honestly the best day of my life. It was the best decision that I've made.
Oh.
I think that was the happiest I've ever been. I've been
Oh.
so happy because it's like she's been my best friend for the last 9 years.
I'm very open in everything that is on my mind. Phil is not. He will let something happen and he'll just hold on to it and not say anything. I can tell when something's bothering him. He's going to shut down and get very quiet. And I'm like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And he's like, "No, I'm fine." And I'm like, "Okay, you're not going to tell me tomorrow. Like, I just didn't like how last night," because that's how it would always go.
What you said, you were looking at his character and what he brought to the table from a moral standpoint. And I think that's the most important thing when looking for a partner, because money can literally come and go. And if you don't have that moral compass, or you guys aren't aligned, that's the foundation of a relationship, not how much money does he have or how much money does she have.
Hello, party people. Welcome to the Dottie's House podcast. I am so excited to introduce you to the cutest couple. I actually met them, y'all, at a wedding 2 weeks ago in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Let me introduce you to Phil and Sydney Edwards. They have been married, y'all, for 1 month. They met in college as freshmen. They both attended Spelman and Morehouse. And they met, I think, freshman week, and the rest is history. So we're going to share about all of that. They currently live in LA. They're both from LA. They live in LA. Sydney is into brand marketing. Phil is into finance. And they're just starting their marriage journey. I thought it'd be interesting to talk to them because they're 27 years old. And we just want to hear what it's like to be newly married, your dating experience. Our audience loves to hear these stories. Thank you so much for being on.
Absolutely. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're excited to be here.
We're excited that you're here. So let's get started. Phil, how did you know Sydney was the one? And tell us how you met. Like, what exactly happened?
We met, like you said, freshman year. It was new student orientation, so we hadn't even started classes yet. Sid was literally the first girl that I met on campus. To give you a little backstory, Morehouse has their own new student orientation. Spelman has their own. And Spelman literally locks their gates. Like, women can't come in or out.
Are you
Um,
serious?
yeah.
Yeah, we call it spell jail, but we are locked into campus for like a week before classes even begin.
Yeah. And so, I was just, with the boys at Morehouse. And then we have this thing called Olive Branch. And so it's to kind of commence new student orientation and then begin the school year. And so Olive Branch entails Clark, Morehouse, Spelman, and we all come together and it's like a big block party. So that's when everyone's first meeting each other for the first time. And so, it was towards the end of Olive Branch that I looked over, I was with my group of friends. Sid was with hers, and I just kind of looked over and I noticed her. I mean, she was just so beautiful. And I was like, I gotta go talk to her. Like, I just have to. And so I went up to talk to her. I just kind of asked her name, where was she from? And then we honestly made that initial connection that we were both from California. I mean, she was kind of keeping it very vague. She was like, I'm from California. I was like, where in California? And she was like, LA. And I was like, okay, where? And I was like, just trying to keep poking. But,
Keep poking.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, we obviously came to learn that we were kind of both in the same area, kind of had mutual friends. And so that was where the initial conversation sparked. And then we kind of talked for about maybe 30 minutes all night. And then we left, went our separate ways. I got her number. But then a funny story, I told my friends, I was like, I think she's the one. Like,
Wait, after 30 minutes.
yeah.
After 30 minutes.
I'm so weak.
Yeah. I was
Wait,
like,
did you come on campus like, I'm going to meet my wife?
oh, no, not at all. Not at all. Yeah.
Had you had a girlfriend in high school?
I had a girlfriend, but it was nothing serious. Like, I didn't really date a lot, but like I was just, and it's funny because my brother went to Morehouse, my brother-in-law went to Morehouse, my sister went to Spelman. And so I kind of had an idea of what Spellhouse, kind of looked like. And it's funny enough, my brother told me, don't go to Morehouse looking for a relationship, especially your freshman year. You're in Atlanta, enjoy all of that. And so that's kind of the mindset I was going into it. But again, I saw Sid. We just had great conversation. It kept going from there, and I was just like, she might be the one. Like she really might
Wow.
be the one. And so the rest is history, and we'll of course get into it more. But yeah,
So basically 30 minutes into it, you were like, "She may be the one." Sydney, what
Mhm.
was your recollection of the night? Like, did you think he was the one?
So, no, I feel like we have very opposite memories of this night. So, Olive Branch is it's in August, and we're in Atlanta, and I'm from LA. I'm not used to this humidity and this level of heat. So, by the time the night was winding down, I was ready to go. I was like, "I don't wanna talk to another person. I'm ready to go back to my dorm." I This has been a long night. We've been locked up for the last 7 days. This is, like, our first interaction, and it's like, it was too much. So, I was with my friends. One of his friends walked up to our, like, friend group wanting to talk to someone that I was standing with. And Phil kind of, like, approached me, and, by this point, I was really out of it. I was ready to leave. So the conversation, it was pretty brief, like, and where I'm from in LA, I'm from Palos Verdes. Most people don't know where that is, and so when he was asking me, "Where you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from LA," and he's asking me, "Well, where in LA?" And I'm like, "You're not gonna know where it's from, so it it doesn't really
It's not
matter."
that deep.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
like, "It
ready to
doesn't
go.
matter." Yeah, I'm like, "Doesn't matter." So I tell him, he's like, "Yeah, I know Palos Verdes, like, I've been to Terranea, and I've been to the high school." I was like,
I love
"Oh,
Terranea, by
okay."
the way.
Yeah.
Terranea is the bomb.
Yeah, we love Terranea. And I was like, "Oh, okay, he's actually familiar with PD, this is weird." So then he's like, "I went to Mater Dei," like, naming the schools that he went to in OC, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm familiar with that area as well." Pretty brief, he walked me and my friends back to the dorm, we kind of walked the way back.
Proper,
Yeah.
proper. Still, I noticed how you did not bring that up, but that's what Sydney remembered. Sydney remembered
Yeah.
yeah,
you walking her back, her
Mhm.
yeah.
and her friends back to
I
her dorm.
forgot about
You
that.
don't remember that, but it was so gentleman-ish and so
Yeah.
gentlemanlike,
Yeah.
and I guess you were just used to doing that, but Sydney, that probably that stuck in your mind, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely did. It was one of those things that kind of stood out later that night. I was like, "Oh, that was nice." Like, he walked us back to our dorm. So I was just kind of talking to my friends, and they're like, "Oh, who's that guy?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's like he's from LA." So it's like, whatever. So he ended up texting me like the next day, just kind of catching up, and the relationship kind of grew from there. But really similarly, I wasn't looking for a relationship or anything like that, but I did definitely come into Spelman knowing, like, there's probably not gonna be another time in my life where I'm surrounded by this many Black men. I mean, Morehouse is right there, Clark is right there. So I never closed myself off to anything, but at the same time, like, it wasn't something that I was searching for right away, but still always wanted to keep my mind open to things just because, yeah, you don't get this chance again, and so it is nice to come out with someone to be able to spend your life with. But yeah, so I feel like for him, night 1, it was like, she's the one. For me, night 1, I was like, "Okay, yeah, he seems nice, but we'll see later."
Okay, I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed that you had the mindset at such a young age that this is going to be probably one of the only times in my life where I'm gonna be surrounded by amazing Black men, and that I probably should come out of here with something, and I think that that is a great lesson for many of us.
Mhm.
Many of young Black men and women that are navigating relationships in college to take advantage of those opportunities because they don't come again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
had 4 years, and you
Mhm.
actually locked in freshman year.
Yeah.
Had your parents talked to you about this? Where are you in your sibling order? I
So
know you have siblings.
I have 2 sisters, I'm the oldest, and then, I have 2 younger sisters, and we never really talked about dating when I was in high school or, like, going into college. I feel like the conversations I have a lot of older cousins, I have a big family, a handful of them went to Spelman and Morehouse, most of them all went to HBCUs, and kind of seeing them, some of them had serious relationships in college, but they didn't really proceed past college. They just kind of ended things there. And I feel like the conversations kind of came from them and them telling me, like, if I could go back and do things differently, I would have loved to find my husband or wife, like, in college. So, maybe it's not something that you focus on, but also just, like, keep that in the back of your mind. So, it didn't really come from my parents, and honestly, once Phil and I started dating, I feel like my parents at first were a little confused. They're like, "This is your freshman year of college, and you've already found a boyfriend?" Like, they were a little shocked by that once I told them. But, I mean, then, of course, they met Phil, and they were like, "Oh, no, we get it. He's great. We love him. We love his parents, his family, everything." But, yeah, didn't really discuss it with my parents, more so with, like, older cousins.
That's awesome. And Phil, where are you in your order?
Yeah, so I'm actually the youngest of 3. So my brother is 7 years older than me, and my sister is 10 years older than me, so I'm very much the youngest.
Are they in relationships? Are they married?
Yeah, so my sister's married, and then my brother is not. He's not married. And so just kind of seeing mostly my sister and her husband's relationship coming out of Spelman. My sister graduated in '08, and her husband graduated '07 of Morehouse. And so just kinda seeing their relationship transpire and what it meant to both come from, Black colleges, it was definitely something that I pinned, but I wasn't thinking about it going into school. And I honestly wasn't thinking about any relationship. I'll be honest, I don't think a lot of men are thinking about relationships going into school, especially their freshman year. And so when Sid was like, this is the only chance that I'll be able to have, being surrounded by a lot of Black men for us Black women. That is true. And I look back on that, I'm like, wow, that is an incredible opportunity that you probably won't ever have again. So I would say, like, don't feel pressure. I'm just kind of speaking in general. Don't feel pressured going into freshman year thinking, oh, I have to find someone. But it's a great opportunity to, be able to kind of open your wings and kind of see who is out there because it's a rare opportunity. So
It is rare, and I also think that even if you don't find your spouse, just having an experience dating in
Mhm.
yeah,
college is so
Yeah.
important, and
absolutely.
so many of our young people aren't dating anymore. I think hookup culture came in about 10 years ago, and that was very disruptive, and, of course, now with we had COVID and people on their phones, but prior to that even, relationships and having boyfriends and girlfriends in the Black community, I believe, was not a normal thing, and it should be more normal. It should be a goal that we all strive for because you need to have those experiences so that you know what you like, what you don't like, so you can learn
Yeah,
about yourself, so that when you do meet the person that, you wanna spend the rest of your life with, you know that, and you
Yeah.
know what to look for,
Mhm.
exactly. I
and
agree.
all of that takes experience.
It
Yeah.
does. Hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
I've got lots of questions, but I
Hmm.
do wanna talk about your dating experience. So you dated for about 9 years, y'all, they've been married for 1 month. They dated for 9 years, and they're 27 years old. Did you guys break up at all during those 9 years?
Hmm.
No, we have never, like, broken up. I personally never really like, as far as, like, taking breaks or anything like that, that's just something that I personally am not really here for. I think if we have a problem now, let's talk through it, let's try to fix it, and if it's really something that's not fixable, then that's, like, a separate issue, but no, we've never broken up, never had any
Yeah, I
breaks.
just didn't I don't think we really saw a point in, like, taking a break because for us, it meant, like, we're going our separate ways, and then we're just not communicating, and then that could lead to more problems. It could lead to maybe reconciliation and, like, getting back together, but at the same time, I don't know, taking a break just didn't make sense to us because it was like, if we're married, we can't take a break, so,
You sure
like
can't. You sure
yeah.
can't. But you guys are very mature to be, so young and it's beautiful. So when I asked you, had you taken a break or had a breakup,
Mhm.
I wanted to know if like you guys had any big fights during these 9 years where you didn't want to talk to each other. And it sounds like you did not.
No, we did.
You no, we
Okay,
definitely
yeah,
have.
let's get into it. That's what
I
let's
mean,
get into the people want the juicy stuff. So you did have some arguments during these 9 years. It wasn't
Yeah.
always a bed of roses.
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
no,
not roses.
yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
can you
but,
speak
like,
to some of those arguments and how you resolved them?
yeah, I mean, being on an HBCU campus, there's drama with relationships, and I think that's honestly that's a big part of why people don't wanna have serious relationships,
Mhm.
because there's just a lot of drama that comes with it. I mean, even if it didn't necessarily always it wasn't even always true, but people would come and tell me like, "Oh, I've been, like, DMing Phil," and I'm like, "What? You've been DMing Phil?" And so I would go and of course, I'm not gonna, like, hash this out with some person that I don't even know, but I would go to Phil and be like, "Okay, this person just came up and told me this, like, what's that about?" And then he'll show me his phone, and it's, like, the most basic thing. He's, like, saying happy birthday, and they're like, "Thanks," and then they're trying to make something out of nothing.
That's insane. Wait, so you're
Yeah.
telling me a woman would approach you and tell you, like, "Your man is DMing me."
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This happened, like there was one, like, serious time where it happened, and I was with some of my girlfriends, and we were literally at, like, a dorm meeting, and my one of my girlfriends was like, "What? Like, not Phil, Phil?" I was like, "Okay, wait, we're not gonna do this here because Imma just go talk to Phil. We're not gonna discuss it here."
That's crazy. That's
And
crazy.
it's just the most simple it was literally like a happy birthday message or something. But I think that people do try to make more drama out of nothing just being on campus. I don't really know what the reason is, but we definitely had, like, arguments over things like that or
So how did you feel when she came to you and said this, especially in a dorm meeting? So there were other people around.
yeah,
How did you feel? Did you feel like, I can't believe Phil betrayed me? I mean, what were your feelings? Like, what were you going through at the time when
yeah.
you got this information?
Yeah, I mean, first, kind of like gut reaction, I was like kinda angry, and then I thought about it for like 2 minutes, and I was like, "Actually, I don't even really know this person at all, but I do know Phil, so, w let me just take a beat, and I'm gonna go discuss this with him because I don't I don't know who this girl is." And so I was definitely upset at first, and but then, yeah, after kinda talking with Phil and seeing that it was nothing, then that was really there was nothing there. But I mean, yeah, gut reaction is I'm always going to be I'm a very emotional kind of person, so my gut reaction always is with my heart and not always, like, logic behind it. So gut reaction, I was, like, upset right away, and then I'm like, "Actually, this isn't a big deal."
I think that's a very mature way to respond. And like you said, you knew Phil.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And, you took a step back and you were like, "Wait a minute." But Phil, how did you feel when she approached you with this, and how did you respond?
Yeah, I was definitely upset because it was taken out of proportion, but at the same time, like, I realized, like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be, DMing someone happy birthday or just
How
doing
far into your relationship were you?
This was, like, my sophomore this was
sophomore
our
year?
sophomore year, so we're, like, a year in.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like a year end. And so, yeah, with that, like, obviously upset, but then I thought about it and I was like, how can I take accountability on my end? And I saw, like, how it made Sid feel, and then I realized, like, okay, like, take let me take steps in order to, like, kinda mediate this, and so, I apologized to her, and then we kinda moved forward, I was like, I won't, DM anyone unnecessarily, like, it was just more accountability and, like, just taking more maturity upon
That's
my
very mature, so you did not get defensive when she came to you.
no, I couldn't because, like, it was like, I did it, like, I can't get defensive, and so, like,
So
and
did you
that
think
was
that you were doing I'm not trying to be messy, but I just think it's so interesting that someone would think a happy birthday message was a DM. Like,
Yeah.
did you think you were doing anything wrong, or were you literally just like, "Happy birthday"? Because 'Cause I'm out here now thinking, "Okay, I'm a matchmaker, dating coach. I'm in young people's DMs on a daily basis. 'Happy birthday. I'm so proud of you. What's going on? Oh, this is hilarious. Hee hee ha ha.'" Or like, "What?" I'm confused.
Yeah, I
Make
think
it
some
make sense,
yeah,
please.
it just
Yeah.
depends, like, some people can take DMs and make it more than what it is.
Yeah, and that's
Um,
100% what it was. It
yeah, I think that it could simple happy birthday could just simply mean a happy birthday,
Yeah.
or it can mean, like, "Okay, he's trying to talk to me." And so it really is on the other side of like, how's the other person interpreting it? And so again, like you kind of have to take full accountability. And I will say, like, even since the beginning, like when I first met Sid our freshman year, like I wasn't as mature as I was now, obviously, but Sid was very mature, especially for a freshman. And I know, and that was something that really caught my eye, and I noticed that right away. I was like, "You're very mature, you're on top of your stuff, you know exactly what you want," and so that's what really attracted me, and so I was kind of forced to be mature if I wanted to stay in this relationship, and so, like yeah.
Wait a minute, that's a word right there. He was forced to be mature. That's an interesting observation as you probably look back on your relationship because I hear so many young men say, "I'm not ready. I don't think I'm ready. I don't have my stuff together," or "I'm currently still looking for a job," or "I'm in transition," or "I don't like the job I'm currently in, so
Mhm,
I don't wanna date until I'm in the right job." And there's a lot to unpack there. I know you guys were young and you were, freshman, sophomore year in college, so you were really, going to school together, building together. But
mhm,
there is something about it being okay that maybe the person that you're with is more mature, and maybe that person's gonna help you step up and be the man that you know you can be, that you should be, that you want to be. I
exactly.
truly believe that having someone by your side allows you and gives you space to reach your fullest potential.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. Like, if I'm doing everything in life on my own, then I'm only seeing like my own flaws and like what I can kind of improve on. But having another set of eyes or having your partner be there to kind of correct you, help you along, it's only positive, honestly. I mean, Sid has helped me mature, developed in so many ways that I could not see coming. And if I was just alone by myself, like, I probably eventually would have gotten there, but it would have taken longer. And so Sid was almost there to kinda I'm not trying to have her, like, say, like, she sped up the process, but, it was just
You
very
you grew together, you grew
Yeah,
together, and women do mature faster than men. I mean,
absolutely.
that's a proven fact. There's data and there's science behind that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
And
think it was,
I
like, dynamic with me being the oldest child and Phil being the youngest. There was, like,
That's even
very
a larger.
Yeah.
yeah, well, there were so many things where I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, you are such a youngest child." Like, I see this with my little sister, like, "You are Ryan." That's my youngest sister. But, yeah, I think that dynamic was definitely that played a role in it too.
Yeah.
It played a role in a positive way too, because I will
Yeah.
say this, with Phil being the youngest of 3, normally the 3rd child is more socially mature. And
Mhm.
Mhm.
so when he approached you, look, he had his game. You gave him a little one-word answer, "California,"
Yeah.
and as he said under his breath, "I kept poking."
Yeah.
That's 3rd child behavior. That's confident behavior. That's I'm a grown ass black man behavior.
Yeah.
He said, "I
Yeah.
kept poking." He
Yeah.
didn't stop there. And so, yeah, he may have been immature in some ways, but socially, I think, a 3rd child, even a 2nd child is socially more confident
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
than a firstborn. And so that showed up. And then actually the juxtaposition of you being the firstborn, more
Mhm.
mature, and then Phil being the 3rd in his family, more socially mature, probably, I think probably blended beautifully together.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it did. I think it helps a lot,
Yeah.
for sure.
I think it's great. I love it. So being 27 and newly married, are most of your friends married?
They aren't. No, they
No.
aren't. Obviously, we met at a wedding, and that was one of my best friends that I met freshman year. And so that was such a cool experience to see him get married. Him and his wife, they met freshman year along with us.
Shout
And
out Miles and Amber.
Miles,
Woohoo!
we're so happy for them. And yeah, it was an incredible thing. And but to answer your question, a lot of our friends aren't married.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Are they dating? Are they in relationships? Are they looking to get married? As you know, I'm a matchmaker and dating coach for young Black professionals in their 20s and 30s. And what I'm finding is the women are ready to be married. They're ready to be locked in. Men say they're ready to be in a relationship, but they're not taking the steps toward that, or they don't feel that they're financially ready. And there's some vulnerability in that because I feel like when you maybe don't have the right job or you're not in the right place where you want to be, you're forced to be a little bit more humble and more
Yeah,
vulnerable, which is actually more attractive. What
Mhm.
I'm finding is that they want to wait until they can flex, I think,
yeah,
and be able to say, this is what I'm doing, blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
yeah. I will
And
say
I
a
don't
lot.
think that's ideal. I think that's ideal. I think we need to give I think they need to mature in that area, and then as women, we also have to give them space to grow and mature. What are
Yeah.
Yeah,
you guys finding?
yeah, it's definitely a two-way street. Like, I can say for me personally, like, coming out of school, obviously, I wanted to get married to Sid, but my thing was I wanna be completely financially set before we get married, and as, time went on, as I was starting to work, I was like, "Okay, this might not be I might not be completely financially set." Because you get into the real world and you start to, life happens, but I think that, men just have to kind of realize like having a partner and especially one that will support you in all of your dreams and all of your aspirations and everything like that. Like it's more of a flex than waiting until you're kind of set and then you go find someone because you're able to grow together. You're able to, share all of those memories where quote unquote you were broke maybe and then you guys leveled up together like that's a beautiful
That's what
thing.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Those are the stories that you want. I mean, that's what we all did. When I met Jason, I believe I was 25, he was 26,
Mhm.
or he was no, or I was 26 and he was 27, but we were in sales. He maybe made a little bit more money than me, maybe $2,500 more than me, but basically we were both check to check, paycheck to paycheck, barely making it, and we built together.
Mhm.
Exactly,
I
exactly.
married the man with character. Married the man that I believed in. I married the man that I knew was gonna be a good father to my children. I knew the financial piece was going to come, and
Mhm.
Yeah,
he had that desire and ability to I mean, he was doing well, don't get me wrong, but in today's standards, the expectations are so ridiculous. What
Yeah.
what people expect for men to have before they get married or be in a relationship, it's just not sustainable. Their white peers, Asian peers, Indian peers don't have those same expectations. I find that dynamic confusing.
Yeah.
yeah, I think too, like, what you said, you were looking at his character and what he brought to the table from a moral standpoint, and I think that's the most important thing when looking for a partner because money can literally come and go,
Mhm.
and if you don't have that moral compass or, you guys aren't aligned spiritually, just everything, like, that's the foundation of a relationship, not how much money does he have or how much money does she have. And
Yeah.
so, like, I think that we both realized that, and that's why we were just willing to build together. And I will say, like, for men, and I can only speak for men, it's okay to be vulnerable. Like, and I had to learn that. And I'm sure we'll get into it more, but it's really okay to be vulnerable and open to your partner or to whoever you're talking to, because that's kind of all you have. Like, you can't, like, I don't go to my homeboys and, like, be vulnerable and open with them all the time, like, it's not ideal, and, like, I can be vulnerable and open with Sid. I can tell her how I'm feeling, I can express, just kind of whatever my thoughts are, and I think that's a powerful thing, but that's also built over time, and so you can't say, "I wanna make X amount of money, and then I'm gonna get married," but, like, you have to meet a person, and then you have to grow and continue to build and nurture that relationship, and so
100%. And you have to be I think you said the key word is vulnerable and
Mhm.
open and know that it's a process.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
is.
And trust and believe that the person that you're dating and you end up marrying wants to grow with you. I mean, that's the key to finding that person
Yeah, the
versus
align
trying to already have your stuff together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
Yeah.
exactly.
you guys had this conversation, like, I wanna get into it, Phil, and
Mhm.
Sydney, I wanna hear from you too. But Phil, so you in your mind, you were like, "I don't wanna get married until I'm financially stable." What does financially stable mean?
Just whatever the number I had in my head at that time. I don't
Oh,
I
really? You were just talking.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was just talking, like, whatever, because I knew how much I was making out of school, and that was not financially stable, and so I was like, "Okay, I think it's gonna take me X number of years to get to this point, and then we'll get married." But then, like, probably a year or 2 went by, and I was like, "Okay, this is a slow creep." I don't know. I don't know if it might not take that fast, and so but at the same time, like, aside from, like, the financial security, it was also, like, the emotional security as well. Again, Sid was very mature already, and especially being the oldest child, and so there was a lot of maturing that I had to do, and probably a year or 2 out of college, like, we were like, "Okay, like, we're out of school, like, we can really now get married." And but Sid was like, "If we wanna get married and if you wanna marry me, like, we need to figure some things out emotionally and together." And so, like, that was kind of a way for her to say, like, "You kinda need to go to therapy." And so
Oh, let's get into therapy.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
Sydney, you felt like Phil needed to mature. Okay, so to the audience, I know I asked them about their friends, but we digress because we're going to get into this conversation around therapy first, and then we're going to go back to what your friends are saying. So, Sydney, you told him he needed to go to therapy.
So it was he kind of came to the therapy conclusion on his own, but there were definitely had very different like communication styles. I'm very open
You both.
anytime, yeah, very vocal. Anytime something's bothering me, if it comes to my head, I'm going to say it. Like I'm gonna if I don't want to say it in that moment, I'll write it down and bring it up later. But I'm very open in everything that is on my mind. Phil is not. He will let something happen and he'll just hold on to it and not say anything. And I would always joke with him, like, I can tell when something's bothering him. He's gonna shut down and get very quiet. And I'm like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And he's like, "No, I'm fine." And I'm like, "Okay, you're not gonna tell me tomorrow, like, I just didn't like how last night," because that's how it would always go. And so we had all of these different like communication issues just where we would let issues fester and then it would like blow up later and we just weren't able to discuss them at all. And I was someone who I've, like, had experience with therapy going back to high school, so it's always something that I've been very open with and I've kind of celebrated, and my parents encouraged it as
That's
well.
awesome.
So, with Phil, I would always talk about, like, my experience with therapy and I told him, like, we clearly have some communication issues, and I don't know if it's stemming from maturity or really what it's coming from. But if we're going to get married, something's got to change. Like, we've got to address this somehow, whether you want to talk to me, talk to your pastor. I don't know who you're going to talk to, but we've
But
got
we're
to.
going to talk to
Yeah,
somebody.
I was like, you got to figure this out.
Okay, so I want to talk about this. Your issue with the communication was Phil's inability to communicate his thoughts and feelings
Yeah.
when it came to disagreements, or just was it just anything or just arguments and disagreements or just everything in life? Because I
Um,
think men do have a hard time communicating, when life is hard
yeah.
or when they're going through something, whether it's
Kind of everything,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of everything, like, whether it was an argument or even, like, if I would ask him, "Hey, do you wanna go get dinner tonight?" And he's like, sure." And I'm like, "Yes or no? Do you wanna get dinner tonight?" Like, that didn't sound really excited, and he's just like, yeah, yeah, sure, we can go." It was just always there was never any type of, like, certainty or and it even the inability to just say, like, "No, I don't wanna go to dinner tonight." I'm like, "You can tell me no. If you don't wanna go, don't
right,
just no." You don't have to say,
right.
"Sure, I guess." And so, really in kind of in everything, and so it took a few years, but then Phil kind of like on his own told me, he's like, "Oh, hey, I think I'm gonna go and just try therapy just to see how we can address these like communication issues." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like that wasn't expecting that.
Awesome.
And he can speak about his journey, but he started it and went kind of consistently like for a few months, but just even in those few months, I saw such a difference in being able to communicate and, like, he was actually bringing things to me that were bothering him, and I'm like, I've been doing this for 9 years, and you've not once told me that that bothers you." Like, I'm like, "But I'm so glad to hear it now." And I feel like it was after those kinds of things were addressed, then I really kind of had a mindset shift in thinking like we can get married, like we can consider marriage. Like I think we're at a point where that's something that can be discussed because I too kind of felt the same way as Phil, thinking we need to have this or that, or I didn't even really have a list of things in my head of things that had to be done before marriage. But realistically, when you're 26 and 27 years old, like, and we live in LA, like, it's not realistic to have own a home before you get
Very
married at 26,
unrealistic.
or like,
Exactly.
there's like things that are just not going to happen. But I think once those, like, foundational issues were kind of corrected, then I really had no issue thinking like, "Okay, I can get married now." But yeah.
I think it's beautiful that one, Sydney, you felt comfortable sharing with Phil, I love you. I want to be with you, but we're not going to get married until these communication issues get worked out because you're laying a foundation for the future.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jason and I went to therapy. Well, I'll call it therapy, marriage counseling, but it was like therapy with our church pastor, and it was so helpful
Mhm.
Mhm, mhm.
together. And we became very, very strong, not only just in our faith, but in our ability to communicate with each other in a safe space without all of the yelling and the screaming or the shutting down and not
Yeah.
talking. I just think it's great. I think it's great, Phil, that you were open
Mhm,
and
mm.
that you went and sought help on your own. Now, share with us about your therapy journey. Were you afraid to go to therapy at first? What advice do you have to Black men that are maybe considering therapy? I hear a lot of times men say, I don't want to go to therapy. I don't need a therapist. I've got my friend group.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, it was an inflection point. Like, I really just had to be because I really wanted to get married to Sid. I loved her so much, and I was like, "It's either this or that." And so, like, I was like, "Okay, like, this is a time where I'm getting older. I'm having a lot more things go on in life, and so I just need help." Like, that was the thing for me. I was like, "I just need help."
So
And
proud of you.
yeah, and, like, it wasn't necessarily something that I can go to my parents to, I couldn't go to my friends or my brother, I was like, "I just need professional help." And it wasn't, like, serious help, I was just like, "I need to, like, figure out, like, why I'm acting like this or, like, why I'm immature in
Acting
some."
like what?
Not acting like that, but, like, being
Well,
imma
no, what behaviors? What exactly were you trying to
um,
change and address?
my
The
mech
audience wants to know.
my communication skills.
Specifically what? That's too vague.
So, like, when we would argue, like, again, Sid is an open book. She'll just kinda say whatever comes to her mind, and then for me, I'm more of, like, I'll just kinda shut down, and I won't say anything, and, like, Sid would always say, like, "It feels like I'm talking to a brick wall or something." And, like, I just did not know what to say, and what I learned was it just came from, like, growing up, like, not necessarily my parents, but just I played basketball, and so coaches would yell at me, coaches would, just get on their high horse, and then I wouldn't know what to say, I couldn't respond, and so, like, I would just shut down, and so that's kind of how I learned to cope with someone either communicating their feelings towards me or communicating anything towards me, which what I thought was quote unquote a negative thing. And so it wasn't always negative, it was just someone expressing how they felt. And I had to realize, like, okay, someone's just telling me what they're feeling and how they're just kind of their overall emotional state. And so I had to realize, like, okay, let me think about what they're actually saying and then process it. And I think it was the processing. Like, I had to process really what they're saying and then come up with my own way of communicating back, like how I felt, or even if it was just something that I did wrong, like just owning up and apologizing for it. Like, I think that was a big thing for me too, and just
That's
saying,
awesome.
like, "I'm sorry, I love you, I won't do this again." And a big thing too that Sid taught me was like how to apologize. And I think that I think that's a big thing is like how to apologize. It's like it's not always, "I'm sorry if I did this or if I made you feel this way." It's like, "I'm sorry that I made you feel this way because I did." It's not if I did. It's because I did, and I will correct this behavior in this way, and, we'll move on from it. And so, it was just learning really how to communicate, learning just behaviors like discipline, control. It was really refreshing because I was scared to go into therapy because, like, I didn't want anyone to judge me. That's why I was, like, very hesitant about, actually expressing my emotions because I was like, "Okay, if I express my emotions in this way, that person is gonna judge me and see me only for that way."
That's
Eh
the nail on the head right there. That, I think you hit the nail on the head.
Mm,
I think many men, women too, don't want to express how they really feel because they don't want to be judged.
yeah,
Yeah.
But once
yeah,
you get to a place where it's okay and this is who I am,
yeah.
love me or leave me, but I am good communicating how I really feel, it's so freeing.
It
Mhm.
really is, it really is, and, like, when I initially went into therapy and mind you, it took me a while just to find a therapist in general because, you really have to connect and align with a good therapist. So it took me about 6 months to really find a good therapist, but once you find that person and you know that they're asking you the right questions and they're probing and, they're really going deep into just whatever you're thinking, it becomes easier to open up because, like, if a good therapist will just kinda open you up on their own. Like, they'll ask so
Let's
many
stop it right there. A good therapist will open you up on their own. You better preach.
Yeah.
And I also want you guys to understand, this is to the audience. Phil said it took him 6 months to find a good therapist.
Mhm.
So, don't get discouraged when you're out looking for a good therapist and you have a couple of encounters with someone that you don't click with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Spend the time. It's like dating. Spend the time and you'll find the right one. It's a
I
process.
Yeah, I will say for me, like, I went back to Sid because I was like, "I really can't find a good therapist," and I was like she was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "I feel like they're not really getting deep into what I wanna talk about." Like, a couple therapists were just asking, like, "How does this make you feel?" or "How does that make you feel?" And I was like, those are just kinda surface level questions, and what really got me into the therapy or to the therapist that I talk with right now was she was asking me, "Okay, why do you do this?" or "Why does that make you feel that way?" And then if I get to the point where I say, "I don't know," then she'll go to another branch, "Okay, if you don't know, then" she'll ask another question, and she'll
She's
just
gonna probe until she gets down to the bottom of it. She's
exactly.
proper. She's proper.
Yeah,
Party
yeah,
people, and that's the other thing too. When you guys those of you all that are in therapy and you feel like, "Oh, I've been going to therapy all this time. I don't understand. I'm still not right." Maybe you're not with the right therapist. And the
yeah.
other thing too is don't trick your therapist. The therapist is only as good
Yeah.
as what you tell them. If
No,
you
Yeah.
lie
really.
to the
True.
therapist,
Yeah.
what
There's no
you
point.
know, it
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be honest to your therapist.
You have to be honest. So you still have a therapist, Phil.
I do, yeah.
That's
And I got
awesome.
yeah, the one I have right now is from a referral, but I mean, there's a lot of tools out there. I know growth therapy is becoming big. I used to use growth therapy, and there's thousands of therapists. Just make sure, you have, insurance to take care of it. But yeah, just I mean, I went through 4 therapists, I wanna say, in the last, like, 5 years till I found
Wow.
the right one. And, like,
Wow.
some therapists, like, I was like, "Okay, I have a good, kinda schedule with them. We're meeting regularly," but kind of after maybe, I don't know, the 10th or 11th meeting, I was like, "This is kinda becoming redundant, and, like, I feel like you're kinda asking me the same questions."
Thank
And
you
so
so much for sharing that.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure a lot of people can relate to what you're saying. For those that have not started their therapy journey but want to, this is gonna help them a lot, and I'm sure they will not be discouraged knowing that it's a process to find the right person.
No, it
Yeah.
is. It really is,
It
yeah.
is a process. And Sydney, do you have a therapist?
I don't at the moment, but I have one that I've been using for several years now. I'm just not on a schedule right now, but it's kinda same thing. It took me a while. High school, I started having some issues with, like, learning, which is what brought me into therapy, is that I would just have these random mental shutdowns was the way that my mom kind of described them, and so, my therapy journey kind of shifted from addressing what was happening with my learning and my education to then just maturing and wanting to address any issues that I had as well. Because I mean, I'm not perfect by any means either. I also had my issues with communication as well. Like Phil said, I'm very much an open book, but that would often lead to saying things that were mean or were hurtful because I would never know when to just shut up. I'll just keep
Right.
talking and talking, and there's really no, like, boundaries kind of once I started. So, addressing those
That
issues well were important too. But now we're at a happy medium. We're able to communicate. Leading up to getting married, our pastor that married us, we did premarital counseling with him
Yeah.
for,
That was huge,
yeah,
honestly.
about a year,
that's
and
it. I'm telling you that premarital counseling, if you've got the right pastor, that Jason and I have been married for 29 years, and we still go back to those conversations
yeah.
and some of the lessons that Pastor Washington, shout out Pastor Washington, taught
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, no, our pastor, Pastor Taylor, he really kind of we were very open with him in the way that we communicate, and we talked through so many different things, read books, like, I will always remember this passage that we read about passive aggressiveness,
Mm.
and when he read when he read it, I was like, "You're kind of reading me right now." I was like, "This is a little too deep." But I feel like just alone from reading that section of this book and just about relationships, it was something that we were able to address amongst each other because when Phil would shut down, then that just makes me keep going, and I go harder because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, you're not gonna talk? Okay, then I'll just keep going." But I feel like now we're really able after this past year, we've just been able to communicate really well to the point where now Phil can almost, like, foresee what's coming. Like, I don't even need to say something, he'll catch himself. Like, if he says something
Oh, that's
like,
awesome.
"Okay, that wasn't good what I just said.
That's
Let's
awesome.
redo this."
I mean,
He was
wha
like
so party people, we've been talking for about 10 minutes about therapy and about counseling and about some challenges that
Mhm.
Sydney and Phil had, you know, during their dating before they got married, but they knew that they wanted to be together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life is hard, relationships are hard, they take work. You just heard a ton of work. They spent first of all, Phil told you he spent 6 months just even trying to find a proper therapist because he knew he needed to do work on himself emotionally in
Yep.
order for him to be the proper man that he wanted to be in the marriage. He wanted to
Mhm.
be the right husband to Sydney.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy. I
Yeah.
want you guys to understand that. It's not going to be easy. And this couple, I mean, they met freshman year, they never had a breakup, and they still have been talking for a quite a long time about the challenges of communication and the work that they put in, not just the therapy, but the marriage counseling with their pastor.
Yeah.
Relationships take work, and you
Yeah.
have to be willing to put it in.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they definitely take work, but I think the silver lining part is, like, again, Sid and I love each other so much, like, we're each other's best friends, and so while it did take work, it didn't necessarily feel like work. It just felt like we were trying to make each other better and make our own selves better, and
Yeah.
in that and in return, it would make, our marriage and everything else better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
So
guess what else? All this therapy and all this that we're talking about, that's gonna help you in your career.
exactly.
Mhm.
That's gonna help you be a better father. That's gonna help you be a better mother.
Yeah.
This is
Mhm.
the foundation that you've put into what's gonna be a lifetime of love and happiness.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
you're gonna have things that happen in your life that have nothing to do with you.
Yep.
Mhm.
Whether it's, at some point our parents unfortunately pass away, we deal with death, you're gonna deal with sickness, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And you have now a nice foundation
Mhm. Mhm.
for your marriage and a way to communicate when things do get hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah, and it felt like a lot of people have asked, like, "What's changed going into marriage?" And, I mean, we've only been married a month, but it's like, "What's changed?" And it's
Babies.
yeah, like, nothing's really changed, like, we are still, working on communication, it's just everything's the same except we live together.
That's
But
awesome. Wait, I wanna talk about that, and then I wanna get off of this topic and move on to what your friends are saying. But did you guys live together before you got married?
No, this is our first time living together. So I feel like
Wow.
probably been the biggest change
yeah.
in our relationship is, like, getting used to being here together all the time. But I mean, so far it's been really fun. I mean, when I go to the office, a lot of my coworkers are in relationships, some are married, and a lot of them live with their significant other. And they keep asking me like, what is it like? Like now that you're living with Phil, is it crazy? Like, are you guys arguing all the time? And I'm like, honestly, no, we're not arguing. We put in the work beforehand to be able to communicate about like, let's separate the chores out this way. You do these things, I'll take care of these things. And we also communicated a lot beforehand about just like finances and what our schedules would look like and how to set boundaries with family, friends, kind of all that stuff. So it's been easy, it's been fun.
Yeah, we had all those talks before
Yeah.
we moved in, and it just made it easier because we
I
already knew what we were going into.
I
Yeah.
find it interesting that you guys didn't live together. First of all, I applaud you because I'm not saying living together is a good thing, a bad thing, but the majority of young people, especially once they get engaged, are living together. You guys were both in LA. Had you guys made a conscious decision, we're not going to live together until we get married?
Yeah, I think we both kind of thought that we would just wait until after we were married to live together. I know this was something that my parents had spoken to me about, and not that I have to listen to everything that they say, but I do take their advice, most of their advice, very seriously because they don't feel like super strongly about many things. So considering that this was one, I was like, okay, I'll take their advice on this one, listen to that.
Yeah, I
But
will
yeah.
say when I asked when I asked her parents to marry her last year, last July, we were actually going to plan on moving in together, and then her mom was like
Uh-uh.
yeah. Her mom and I have a very close relationship. Her dad and I do too, but her mom was like, you guys aren't doing that." And she was like, "You guys will get married, and then you guys will move in." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am."
Yeah.
He was like, "It will be proper."
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm hearing a lot, your parents, her parents, our parents. It's beautiful that you have 2 sets of parents that are supporting you on this marriage journey and that all of you guys are in LA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Are both of your parents still married and together?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Her parents are celebrating
30
30
years
years
in
coming up. Yeah,
December.
my parents are celebrating 40 years coming up. And I think
Wow.
that's the biggest thing too is like we've had those examples growing up of just really strong marriages and what it looked like to have a family. And like that's the other thing too, and we'll get into this as we talk about, just dating now in general, is just like family is really the cornerstone of everything. And if you don't have like a really strong family unit or you can't seek one out, I think that's really kind of what sets the foundation and tone of your children getting married and grandchildren and everyone coming up after you. It's like having that very strong family foundation has really been like the backbone of our
An
relationship.
example, an example.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for sharing and for being so vulnerable. We've already been on for almost an hour, so I really wanna hear
Yeah.
what your friends are saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you guys are 27
Mhm.
and most of your friends are not married or in relationships. I asked you to talk to them
Mhm.
before we had this interview to get some tea on what they're saying about their challenges and what they've been going through. We want to hear it all. Drop it. Just drop it. Whichever one of you guys want to start talking. I want to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like so a lot of my it's kind of funny. A lot so my girlfriends from Spelman, none of them are married yet. One of them is kind of in a serious relationship. Some of them have had like on and off serious relationships. But I think that after our wedding, I was talking to some of my friends and they kind of collectively all were like, yeah, we're not ready to get married. Like that that was crazy. Like just seeing it so up close, like that's not something we're ready for.
So
But
the women are saying they're not ready. Are they saying they're not ready because they're not in a relationship or they're just not ready?
I feel like it's honestly a combination of both. I think that for one of my friends who is in a pretty serious relationship, she is ready to be married now. She's ready to get engaged. I think that the rest of my friends just haven't met the right person yet for them to see a long-term relationship with someone.
So what are
Um,
they saying though? What are the themes? Like what are they saying? Like what did they share with you? What are you
Yeah.
guys hearing?
Yeah, I think overall, like, dating is more kind of casual now, where I think at one point where people were approaching every single date, like, I had a friend, my dad told one of, our friends, like, an advice one time to, like, always say yes to the date. Like, you never know where that date is going to lead you unless there's, like, a serious red flag, you think you're, like, gonna be in danger, then obviously don't say yes, but always say yes. And someone else has told me that they would approach every single first date that as if this is something that would end in a marriage, and they were going to take every first date very seriously. I don't think a lot of people are still I think it's just more casual now, and I was talking to some of my friends that I was hearing it from both sides. Girls were saying that guys in general aren't really looking for marriage. Social media is a big thing now with everyone gets online and sees another pretty girl, another pretty face, and it's like even though you're present dating someone right
Very
now,
distracting.
yeah, you're seeing all these other girls on social media who might be even prettier or have a really nice body or whatever, and so you're always looking for the next.
Bodies change.
Yeah,
Bodies
they
change.
they
Yeah.
do.
The heart doesn't change.
Yeah.
The character doesn't change, but that body is gonna change.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
will.
I think yeah, and 2, like
Phil,
yeah.
you need to opine because you were at Morehouse as a freshman,
Mm.
and Spelman was right next door with beautiful women. I don't know if they were as beautiful as Sydney.
They
Were
weren't.
you ever like, what do you have to say about the whole like, do your guy friends think there's always, "Oh, she's gonna be badder. She's gonna be this. She's this, that, the other. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
she's even prettier." What are your guy friends saying? Like, why can't they choose? I think there's something about a man there is something very, very confident, very sexy about a man that can settle down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think for one, again, what Sid said, there's so many options out here, and
Or it
it's
appears that there's so
well,
many
yeah, it
options.
appears that there's so many options. I mean, when you're on social media and you're just scrolling, you can see as many women as you want, and you can just
So
keep
do you think that it's just a visual thing that I'm very confused. Why I find it confusing is because other races and cultures don't have this confusion. They're able to find their person, settle down, find their wife, build their life, move on.
Mhm.
Why are our men stuck on the scroll? I'm confused.
That I can't really I'm not sure why our men are are stuck on the scroll, but, again, it's this illusion of having too many options, I think.
Yeah.
Is that what they tell you though? Like, Phil, what are they saying in the chat? Obviously, you don't need to tell any names. So
Yeah,
what
Yeah.
are they saying in the chat?
Oh, literally, like,
that's what they
they're
say.
literally saying, like, I have too many options. Like,
Yeah.
why would I settle down for this woman when I can have that? And, like, when you brought up, like, you were a freshman at Morehouse and you had all these women at Spelman, like, I would always tell my friends, and you can ask them, like, freshman, sophomore, junior year, I would say, like, the 80-20 rule, right? You can find a person, and if you find 80% of what you're looking for in them, then I think you should, like, really pursue it. The other 20%, like, you can either build or it's really not that important. And so that's kind of what I would always go on or rely on when, when I'm met with temptation or anything. It's like, Sid has whatever I need. She has all that I need. And
You
it's like
better
I
preach.
yeah. It's like I just because, like, it kinda leaves you empty if you're just going from one to the other. It has to leave you empty.
It
And
has to leave you empty, and it's not sustainable. You're still alone.
yeah,
Meanwhile, you're out here, Phil, with a proper wife who's invested in you. She's
absolutely.
going to make sure that you're successful, and you're gonna make sure she's successful.
Yeah.
You guys are invested in each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think too, it's like it's a lot of the responsibility on the man's part because they're the leader of the relationship, they're the leader of the household, whatever it may be, and so they have to take charge, and if you 2 are dating and you've been dating for maybe 2 months or 3 months and you haven't really taken full control or say, like, "I wanna go take this next step with you," then it's just going to lead to more of what we were saying about casually dating. It's like, why are we dating for 6 months and, like, we haven't really talked about where this is going? And so, and I think a lot of men fear that question after a few months is like, "Okay, where is this going?" because then they might revert back to, some I don't know, they might revert back to wanting to continue playing the field or just wanting to do something else, and so,
What
uh
advice do you have to them? I really want you to share some advice. I want both of you all to share some advice
yeah.
and you guys are 27, you're young,
Mhm.
okay? You're young, you're 27, you're mature, you've made, a really smart decision to get married to the love of your life and to start building. I actually can't wait to interview you even 2 years from now to see how different your life is compared to your peers who are your same age now that
Mhm.
you're married, in
Mhm.
terms of your financial success, in
Yeah.
terms of your career success,
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
just your love life, but your financial and your career success. I put money on it all day
Yeah.
that you're gonna be 5 times, 10 times ahead of them because you have someone that's invested in you and she has someone that's invested in her.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I think with a lot of things, it takes a partnership to really build something. You can do it all alone, but it's much easier. It's much safer with a partner because you have someone to rely on. You have someone to bounce ideas off of. And at the end of the day, you have someone that loves you. Like everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to love somebody. And so to be able to just kind of open up and be vulnerable to another person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, like it's hard, but it's going to take work, it's going to take time, but like it's truly worth it. Like marrying Sid was, it was honestly the best day of my life. It was the best decision that I've made.
Oh.
I think that was the happiest I've ever been. uh, been
Oh.
so happy because it's like she's been my best friend for the last 9 years, like, just to see a future with her for the next 50 years, 60 years, our lifetime, like, it's something that, like, money can't buy, like, it's such a special feeling, and, like, for
You're
the
gonna look back on this video. I know your wedding video was the bomb, but you're gonna look back on this video 5 years, 10 years from now, and y'all are gonna be bawling.
Yeah. Yeah, I would just say for the men, just to wrap it up, like,
Yes, you
it
gotta
it
wrap it up.
it's okay to really pursue someone. It's okay to just pour your heart into someone. And like, even if you do feel uncomfortable or you do feel vulnerable, like, don't sweat it. Like, you can always kind of bounce back, but you won't always find that one person or the person that, of your dreams. But it's worth it at the end of the day. If you can find someone, build, and just kinda lock in with, and again, like, build your life. Like, that's yeah.
That's
Or
great advice.
Yeah,
Sydney?
I would say kind of similar. I think that a lot of times I know I can be very picky and point out really random flaws or pet peeves or whatever, but I think when it comes to dating and, like, finding someone that you really wanna be with, you have to look at cut out all of the noise and you have to really look for the things that are important. Like, is this person a good person? How do they treat their parents? How do they treat my parents? How do they treat me? When you're looking for just kind of that foundation, and Phil was I saw very quickly how he was just very thoughtful. Like, there were times when I would just be talking and he was listening always. And he would throw things back that I don't even remember saying. And he would be like, oh, yeah, just how you said you like whatever, you have to sleep on hypoallergenic sheets or just random things
Oh.
that he would bring back later. I think that being just super focused on the things that matter and that are going to be important in your relationship, almost every other skill can be taught or learned. There's some things that just can't be taught, and, I mean, Phil checked pretty much all of the boxes of things that I needed for my own life, but, I mean, just being excited to take that foundation and then just continue to grow together and build our life. I just think that it's super important to just focus on the things that matter and cut through the noise of looking for just little flaws here and there and just really focus on what matters.
yeah, don't let social media
Oh.
fool you.
Yeah.
Like,
That's right, don't get caught up.
don't
Yeah.
play into the hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys so much for sharing. I'm excited to follow your journey 1 month into marriage. Y'all, I met them 2 weeks ago at a wedding, and I said, "I want you on the Dottie's House podcast," and they said, "Sure." That just this couple is special, and, Your life is going to be, I can just see it. I feel it. It's going to be amazing. And thank you for inspiring others. And thank you for encouraging our young people. I appreciate you being on the Dottie's House podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We
thanks for
appreciate it.
having us.
Absolutely. And please tell all of your single friends to follow Dottie
Yeah.
We
and
will.
to lock in. We
Yeah.
have an event coming up in New York and they need to be there.
Yes. They
Absolutely.
do.
Find your wife and build your life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to the Dottie's House podcast. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been listening for a while, so grateful for your love and support. Please hit follow, subscribe, and share. And I'd love your feedback. Until next time, love y'all.